Hi guys, welcome back to X and Yung. So today I'm going to make a review of becoming a Singapore permanent resident for 3 years. So I'm actually inspired because in the past 2 years or so, I make a video when I was in the first year permanent resident, and that video is more on the requirements of becoming a Singapore PR. So now I'm going to explain to you what to expect after getting your Singapore PR. What will happen in the first year, second year, third year. Okay, so first let's talk about CPF, Central Provident Fund. So usually people worry so much about CPF because you know when they have a work permit or E-pass or S-pass, they are a foreigner. Then they want to convert those work permits into a Singapore PR. They need to pay CPF. So CPF, you heard about it, it's 20% salary cut. So it's actually not really cut into your salary and then your money is lost. CPF will take 20% from your salary and they will put it into a retirement fund. Then the good thing is 17% will also be paid to that retirement fund, your own personal retirement fund, from your own employer. So if you see it in a positive light, you are actually getting paid more, right? You're getting paid more because your employer gives you 17%. And what many do not know, even I do not know, when I became a Singapore PR, is that on the first year and second year of your Singapore permanent resident status, you actually get a lower rate of CPF cut. Usually the first year is only 5% salary cut to your own personal salary and 4% from the employer. So your employer contributes 4% and you contribute 5%, which makes up of a total 9% to your own personal CPF retirement fund. And for the second year, your personal CPF contribution would be 15% and your employer's contribution would be 9%. You see? So 15% from your salary and 9% from your employer to your retirement fund, which makes up a total of 15 plus 9, 24%, right, to CPF. And then you graduated sort of graduated to a the highest rate, which is 20% of your salary contribution on the third year, and also from the employer 17% from your employer. So that makes up a total of 47% from your salary goes into CPF. It's like part by part. From first year you only contribute 5%, second year 15%, and the final third year 20%, and all the way until you retire. Okay, so that's for CPF. The second point is as you become a Singapore PR, you through this route, through the professional route, meaning getting a work permit first, getting a job, getting a work permit means employment pass and S pass, and then converting it to a Singapore PR, permanent resident, you actually do not need to go for NS or national service. You do not need to go for national service. But if you have a son, your son needs to go to national service. Okay, you got it? Okay, you yourself do not need to go for national service. It's not compulsory at all. But your son, your future son needs to go to national service. So that's point number 2. What's point number 3? Give me the card. So now let's go to point number 3. The ease of changing jobs. As a Singapore permanent resident, you can change jobs. Like it depends on your employer lah. If your employer say within 1 month you can change job, so you can already just switch job to another company, right? Within 1 month, when you send your resignation letter, then the next month you can just move to another company. It's not the same as a foreigner, because a foreigner comes to Singapore to work via what we call a sponsorship via what we call a sponsorship process. So they have to find a company in Singapore that is willing to take them as an employee, right? And then this company needs to sponsor them a work pass. Okay, a work pass is an employment pass, S pass, or a work permit. So because of this process, it's very hard for foreigners to change jobs unless they become a Singapore permanent resident. When you become a Singapore permanent resident, technically you can just switch jobs like within a day. Like if you have your employer wants to fire you today and then you got a job tomorrow, you can just switch jobs. You don't need to apply to ICA, the Immigrations and Checkpoint Authority, for a new work permit or new work pass because you already have a permanent resident status. Now, point number 4. It's quite linked to point number 3 because for point number 4, Singapore permanent resident can have 2 jobs. Okay, can have 2 full-time jobs. Let me be clear. 2 full-time jobs, maximum of 2 full-time jobs. So previously, like I say, for the sponsorship sponsorship process for the Singapore work permit holders, work pass holders, you only get sponsored by one company and you have to work for that company only. It is illegal to have 2 jobs as a foreigner in Singapore. I mean, foreigner having a work pass in Singapore. However, if you have a Singapore permanent resident status, it is fully legal to have 2 full-time jobs or maybe 1 full-time job and 1 part-time job. It's okay, right? As long as you have a Singapore permanent resident status. And the last point, the 5th point, is an opportunity to purchase a HDB flat. A HDB flat is a Housing Development Board flat, basically public housing in Singapore. Okay, so public housing is generally half the price of private housing, or even cheaper than that. Okay, or even 1/3 the price of the private housing within Singapore, and it's pretty much affordable as long as you work in Singapore. Then if you become a Singapore PR, permanent resident, you can purchase a HDB, albeit a second-hand HDB. Okay, so what are the requirements? Simple. You are a Singapore permanent resident. If your couple, okay, your spouse is a Singapore permanent resident, both of you are Singapore permanent resident, and you are married, you have to be married, and you have to hold the permanent resident status for at least a minimum of 3 years. Okay, hold the permanent resident status for 3 years, and you are married. Then you can purchase a second-hand HDB, meaning the housing HDB flat that is already in the market. What are the requirements for a BTO? Simple. If you are a Singapore permanent resident, you have to have a spouse that is a Singapore citizen. Okay, because only Singapore citizens can apply for a BTO, build to order flat, or a new HDB flat. Okay, only Singapore citizens can apply. But if you are a PR, you just find a spouse that is a Singapore citizen then you can get a new HDB flat. Otherwise, if both of you are Singapore PR, the requirements are as follows. You have to be married and you have to have hold this permanent resident status for 3 years. So that's it, guys. That's all that I have learned and my review of this 3 years being a Singapore permanent resident. It really is a very good opportunity, especially if you want to have more than 10 years working in Singapore kind of thing, and you see your future, your near future in Singapore as a worker. I think it's really good to have a permanent resident status because it gives you the flexibility of changing the jobs. It also gives you extra salary in a sense because your employer pays 17%, right, to your retirement fund. So it also prepares you for your long-term future for retirement. Okay, so that's it, guys. So hope you guys have a happy National Day for all Singapore residents here in Singapore. Happy National Day, Majulah Singapore, right? I think that's it.